Yeah, go ahead and text him, but we'll start the meeting. All right, my name is John Reynolds. I'm chairman of the Sewer Commission. And, oh, I should have asked Bill, do you have your flag? Oh.
Dave's got his.
Dave's
There
got
we
the
go.
flag, okay. All right, so I'd like to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. You know, Dave, you want to start us out?
Sure. I pledge allegiance
To the
To the
flag
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 of the
of
United
United
States
States of
States
America,
and
to the republic
Republic
which
for which it
stands
stands
one
one
nation,
nation
under God,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty
and justice
justice
for all.
for all.
for all.
all. So this is the, I'm opening the meeting of the Sewer Commission at, it was 6 o'clock when we started, and it's May 30th, 2023. Jane, do you have your hand up for, there's a hand on your screen. Do you want to ask a question? Or is that,
No, I don't know what.
okay.
I was having trouble logging in, so no.
Okay. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting of the Sewer Commission is being recorded and will be able to be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The following information is also provided for members of the public that would like to participate in the meeting remotely. To participate remotely from a computer, please use the link to join the public meeting webinar found on the posted agenda, or from a telephone, dial the toll-free number 888-475-4499 and enter the webinar number 820-5953-7604. If you have not registered with Zoom, you will be asked for your name and email address. No participant ID is needed. Just press pound when asked. All right, I'm going to do a roll call vote to make sure members can hear me and just answer present when I call your name. Let's see, Brett has not joined us yet.
He'll be on in a minute. Mr. Chair, he's trying to get on right now.
Okay, Dave McDonald,
Here,
Mike Nault,
Here,
and I for myself. And staff, when I call your name, please answer in the affirmative. Bill Bernard,
here,
Paula Bertram,
Here,
and Jane Rainley.
Here.
And Brett, good to see you.
Here.
Brett Ramsden has now joined us.
yes, hello. Sorry
Okay,
about that, folks.
no, that's okay. Okay, are there any public announcements from the public?
Mr. Chair, can I just ask Brett, did you just say hello, bro?
No. I said hello. I don't remember what I said after that.
Okay.
Definitely
bro.
wasn't hello, Brett. And I did get sworn in this morning, so we're good.
Okay, great. Let's see, any public comment from the public? No, any public comment from any of the commissioners or staff?
Hello, bro. Yeah, that's about it.
Mr. Chair, I have two comments to make. One is I want to thank Jane, who worked the polls at the election. Great job, Jane. It looked like it was well organized, and I love the license thing and how that worked. So thank you for your service at the town election. And the other thing, Mr. Chair, I wanted to introduce Mike Mackin, who's interested on how we do our operations. So he's going to be a visitor tonight. And Mike, I see you there. Thank you for coming on board.
Yes, thank you, Mike.
No problem.
Okay, any announcements from anyone? No announcements, okay. Paula, is our appointment?
they haven't joined yet. I did send them the agenda with the link, so hopefully they will be joining, but I don't see them yet. So
Okay, were they scheduled for a specific time?
6:15,
6:15, okay.
that's what I told them, yeah.
Okay. If I remember correctly, we can move on to current business until they show up.
Yep.
So we have 2-minute packages to approve. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to read the ones from 411 and 59. I think,
Yes.
see everyone's nodding their
Yes.
head. Yes, okay. Does someone
I
want to
read
make,
411.
okay. Does someone want to make a motion for the 411 minutes?
Oh, no, I've read both those. It's 411 and 5. Yes,
Okay.
I've read those. Yeah. I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes from 411:23.
Do we have a second?
Second,
Any further discussion on those? Seeing none, I'll take a roll call vote. All those in favor? Mike Noltz,
Aye for all 20 pages.
Dave McDonald,
it was a long night.
and Brett, you vote affirmatively to accept those?
Yes, I'll give an eye to that as well.
Okay, an aye for myself. The minutes are accepted. All right, moving on to the 5-9 minutes. If someone want to make a motion to accept those?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from 5-9.
Okay, want to second that?
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion?
One thing, Mr. Chair, Jane, you did a great job on those minute taking again. Okay, thank you. Oh.
It goes without saying, Jane.
Be careful, Jane, he wants something.
Thank
All
you.
right. No further discussion. We'll take a vote to accept. Mike Nalt,
Aye.
Dave McDonald,
Aye.
Brett Ramsden,
Aye.
aye for myself. The minutes are accepted. Okay, the next item is the ARPA funding update. Did everyone have a chance to look at that?
Is that the latest update, like as of today? Because I just heard they took most of that away, or what we calling it,
Took most of what away?
the APWA money.
Who's recalling it?
It's part of the debt ceiling thing that they're working on.
Well, yeah, I've heard,
Clawback, I think it's,
I've heard that some money might be recalled, but did you hear anything specifically about?
it's all over the board. I was hoping something official before we even talk about the APWA money. But we should find out when they sign the bill. Actually, Mike, have you heard anything about that? You're into looking at that? Mike Mackin?
I have that.
Oh, okay. Again, I just saw it on the news a little while ago.
No, I heard what you, heard, but I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know. It's clawback, anything that's not spent.
Exactly. I
You know.
don't know what that means.
So, I mean, we can still talk about it, Mr. Chair. It's just, I don't know what's happening, but
Right, well, I guess most of the discussion would be, I mean, Paula put together, once again, a really good package, and I just, I thought as presented by her, it's a very good package. So does anyone have any questions about the package? You know, regardless of whether it can move forward or not?
Paul, when did you send that to us? Was that in the last meeting or the last email?
Not this last one, the one prior to that. And Bill, for some reason, I don't have the specific date here. I'm hoping you do. Heather sent an email requesting a presentation by any board that was considered a priority request. And the sewer commission requests were a priority request. So she asked that we put together a presentation and someone be able to attend the meeting to present it. So that I sent you guys a presentation and I'm happy to kind of run through it if that's helpful, but I did send the presentation out along with the notes page that has all of the notes relative to the various slides. And I don't, so basically we are asking for $200,000 for manholes. And I went through all of the reports from 2016 and 2020 when we had manhole inspections done. And there are many that remain outstanding to be repaired. And so to cover the $200,000, I'm focusing on the Electric Ave area and then Mass Ave and a couple branches off of Mass Ave. And Joe Projan and Jack Welch from the DPW went through the initial list and visited all of the manholes and agreed with the list that I put together. And I'm happy to show that if that would be helpful. But there are 19 manholes on Electric Avenue for a total of $47,420. There's one to the high school that needs a frame replacement, and that's $18.90. And then on Mass Ave, there's a total of 41 manholes that are recommended to be repaired for a total of $95,410. Meadowwoods, there are 3 near the entrance that are in tough shape, and that's the $6,930 expenditure. The road to the primary school has 5 to be replaced for $15,120. And then Richards Way, which is a road over near Mike's Mobile across from Mackey's, has numerous. There's 15 manholes there for a cost of $28,550. So the total to repair 84 manholes is estimated to be $195,320. So that is what our ARPA request is. As you guys know, our budget is very limited. We base it on user fees, and we're stretched really thin. On average, we've been doing about 8 to 10 a year, but there are 168 manholes that are in need of repair. So to make any kind of serious headway, we need an additional funding source. So I did put together a PowerPoint presentation that goes over this. It talks about the sewer infrastructure, the sewer customers that we currently have, the reasons why we need to have the additional funding, the focus areas of the manholes. And then the second component of our request is the sewer pump stations. And I requested we've requested $300,000 for that. And this is based on information from Al and Bill and I sitting down and going through all of the various previous reports that were done. And we're proposing 6 dialers to be replaced at Dana Street, Electric, Twin City, Francis, Leominster, and Mass 1. 4 pumps, Leominster, West Street, Twin City, and Francis. Panel upgrades at West Street. We're actually proposing to fund that this year, but there are many to take that place. A motor shaft at Mass 1, impellers at Dana and Mass 1 and Leominster, and then generators at Electric, Twin City, and Meadowwoods for a total of $305,000. So the presentation I put together talks about all of these things. And as I said, the slideshow presentation covers all of that.
Well, I got a question for you, if that's okay, Mr. Chair.
Absolutely.
If you look at your focus on the manholes, did you, I see one cost $1,890. Is that correct? So if you take $1,890 times 41, what do you come up with?
It doesn't, that's not the way it works.
That's what.
There's different prices because there are different degrees of severity. So for example, if a lift hole needs to replace, we have to parge the hole, we have to line the manhole. So the cost for that is almost $4,000. It's $3,780. In one case, this is another example, we have a worn frame, 2 cracks in the wall, rebar. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done there. That's $2,520. So it's and the attachment that I sent has the detail of every manhole and every estimated cost.
Did we get the attachment here? I don't see, I'm looking at your slide.
I did send it out in the previous email. It was the ARPA request. It was a write-up that I had written for the selectmen, as well as the detail of all the expenditures.
So when we do the presentation to the select board for the homeowners, could you have a separate sheet in case whoever gives a presentation gets asked that question, we can explain it?
Sure. Yeah.
Anything like that along the way?
Yep. No, I did send it out. Hopefully you guys got it because I did send it.
Yeah, we did.
But it details all of the expenditures and how I arrived arrived at the totals, and these were based on the cost from Wright Pierce from 2015. And I put that in the write-up to the selectmen that I went to a cost calculator and I put in a cost for 2016 and then the escalation factor for what it would be today. And it said 26% increase. So that's what I have based the cost on, is with a 26% escalator.
Do we know who worked on those before? Do we have subcontractors that we used?
So there are, Martinez Brothers did a number of them, and then apparently the state, when they did 2A, they had someone else do it. And Bill, I'm not sure if you know who that was.
Joe said it was Tango Construction.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend them again. That's me though, but
Well, the DPW guys agree with that. They said that the concrete came up too high, and the way that you should do a manhole, I don't know what is happening to my computer. The way that you should do a manhole is bring up the concrete to a certain level and then a certain level of asphalt. And according to Joe, the concrete came up too high. And so that's why there's a lot of damage to the manholes.
okay.
So
I think,
the other thing, go ahead, Jay.
I think we need a policy though, that we're gonna be going ahead with this. What is gonna be our procedure with the DPW? Are they gonna be inspecting these or approving them? Which wasn't done in the past, so. I mean, I'd highly recommend that we have an inspector, just like anybody else, to sign off on these before they put on the asphalt.
Right, so Dave, I had the standard construction plans from Mass DOT, and it shows how to rebuild a manhole to grade. And that's what we can go by. And there's written specifications too, so we can go by that and we should be in good shape.
Okay, good.
Along with the request, I also sent detailed maps, and I haven't sent this to Heather yet because I wanted you guys' approval, and I'm, rather than share my screen, I'm just going to show you, but the maps show each manhole and it highlights each manhole. So they can see exactly where we're talking about. So they'll get that as well. And there's 5 maps associated with the plan.
Well, I'm looking at your presentation, Paula. You have it on your manhole focus areas and the
Mhm.
prices, so it's there.
Yeah.
So the only thing regarding cost is, it's great you included the inflation factor. But the description of the repair was based on an evaluation in 2015, right?
Right.
So each manhole could be a little worse off
Exactly.
than
Exactly.
described in 2015. So
That's also pre-COVID prices.
Right. So we may not be able to accomplish all of this. I mean,
Right.
as the work progresses, we'll either add or subtract.
Right.
But this is our best estimate at this point in time.
okay. All right. It looks like someone for our appointment might be here.
Yes, Mr. Brambilla is here.
Okay. So let's go back to A&D Crossroads and the non-compliance hearing. Paul, if you want to, thank you for coming, Mr. Rambiolo. Paul, if you want to remind everyone, give everyone a little summary of where we are with this.
So I met with Mr. Brambilla, I think it was your wife. I'm not sure. But I met with a representative from Ixtapa and a translator, and we went through the history, and there have been numerous issues with getting the necessary reports and the schedule associated with pumping the interceptor at A&D Crossroads. And there have been multiple emails, multiple certified mails, because we haven't received the information. Initially, the system was due to be pumped on October 12th. As of November 11th, we didn't receive it. December 13th, we hadn't received it. This commission voted to implement the non-compliance process. We requested the required documentation be submitted by January 26th, and otherwise fines would be implemented from 11/11 up to the current date, which was March 1st. We finally received a report on February 17th of 2023. But the commission voted to implement the fine because we hadn't heard. Now today, I did receive a pumping report. However, it was not in the correct format. I received a report from Wind River Environmental. The system was pumped on Friday, but again, we don't have the report in the correct format. So currently the fee stands at $2,525 for non-compliance and for continued non-compliance. So Mr. Brambilla is here to talk about that.
Okay, Mr. Brambilla, would you like to you have anything to say, anything to contribute here? We can't hear you. We're not hearing you. We're still not hearing you. We still can't hear you.
Something's on mute.
What's that? Do you have your microphone turned on? No, we still can't hear. We're still not hearing you.
Mr. Chair, I think we should ask David to hop off and come back on.
Okay.
And
Mr.
proceed.
Brambilla, can you sign off and sign back on and see if that makes a difference? Still can't hear. If we can't end up hearing him, I think we'll have to have him come back for another hearing, and I would freeze any additional charges at this point until.
Yeah, we have not been charging because we did
Right.
finally receive the report.
Okay.
It looks like he's trying to.
Right.
Yeah, you can see the mic is going on and off, but it's not working for him.
Right.
I've had that happen to me. It's frustrating.
If you have an iPhone, you can call in and use the audio from your iPhone. There's a phone number on the agenda.
Okay. I don't know if this is going to work for tonight.
Yeah, if you guys could hop off and try to call back in either on an iPhone or try again on the computer, but we can't hear you. So if you could log off and try logging on again.
Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Chair, if we could go back to the ARPA, I would like to
Yeah,
get. both-
Let's do that. Yep. I'm sorry, you'd like to do what, Paula? Back,
Get a vote to forward this to the selectmen. Date, Bill, do you have the date of the meeting by any chance?
Her email doesn't give a date. It says he's working with the chair of the select board to come up with a date, and she'll let us know.
Okay,
all right. So if someone wants to make a motion to have Paula forward this. Mike, Brett,
I'm sorry, what was the question for? I missed that one.
forwarding the ARPA package to Heather so it can be forwarded to the selectmen.
To review it and make any necessary changes?
no, we would go to a meeting and present it.
Oh, okay. Is this at the town hall or? at the-
We don't, yes, it would be at the town hall.
But it's really about taking a vote to approve this package to be forwarded by Paula.
And what is the date on that? Do we have a date on that?
I'd like to forward it as soon as possible.
We just don't know the
Okay.
date of the meeting, but she'd like to forward it as soon as possible.
So I do have a question.
Okay?
Is it etched in stone? And I guess I'm falling back to the meeting we had last week with Luminster's DPW Sewer Commission, where they eliminated some manholes.
I'm glad you brought that up.
So my question is, like, if any of these happen to qualify for something that could be eliminated instead, can the money be used that way?
I think we should add that. I think we should add that to the presentation. And there is actually a date. I just pulled up the email. It's Tuesday, June 6th, between 7:30 to 8:30. So I would like to get this to them as soon as possible, so that someone can attend that meeting. But Mike, I started looking at that and I'm measuring the distance between the different manholes, and especially if we have a line that, you know, we have some that are less than 200 feet apart. If we can line the pipe,
Yeah.
and eliminate them rather than fixing them, that makes sense. And Bill and I have started looking at it.
Sure.
So I'm going through and measuring all of the distance between the ones we've identified. And
Okay,
what we
yeah.
can do is, what we can do during the presentation is say, you know, if the option exists to eliminate manholes and therefore, you know, eliminate additional I&I, we will take that, we will use the funds to do that. And that's all I would say, because I won't have specific
Sure,
manholes at that point, but I definitely think that's something worth looking at. It's all going to depend on the grade, you know, where they're coming in. But looking at it just on paper, it certainly looks like there are numerous that could be eliminated.
And now, how would that be?
Making sure.
Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead, Brett.
I was wondering how that would be handled when the pipe gets lined and goes through those manholes, which I think is a great idea. So I don't know if Bill has a plan or if there's prices, because it's going to be a cost to remove those manholes and fill them in properly so that it can handle traffic in that area where the manhole was. Is there a plan in place for those?
Well, we wouldn't take the structure out. You'd take the frame off. You'd leave the structure, you just backfill, you could just fill it with gravel.
Right.
So you-
Okay.
So you line the pipes, basically they put a sleeve in and they put a pipe across and they sleeve it, and then you
Right.
eliminate the manhole.
No, I understand that. There's
Yeah.
definitely some work on the manhole involved in that to be
Right.
eliminated as well. is all.
Right, right,
But
right.
at least it's gone after that. And we eliminate I&I in that
Right.
location.
Well, that was the big thing. They said they had some pretty good success eliminating I&I by, you know, certain manholes for sure. And I would have to guess that if we start looking, we're gonna have quite a few that probably qualify for that. So
Right.
just
I
want to
think
make
it's a great
sure.
idea.
Paula or Bill, do you have any idea yet what the cost is per foot for lining? I mean, I did some of that at a couple churches, and it was, you know, small volume, and it was really pretty expensive. But and the technology I was using back then could have been completely different than what is used now too.
I don't have a cost at this time.
Okay. Okay. All right, so that gets us back to can
The
we,
meeting.
can we, go ahead, Greg.
No, my big concern with doing the meeting is hearing the select board myself. I don't want to show up to represent us and not hear in the town hall. I know there's a new hearing system available for the hearing impaired, but I don't want to show up and not be able to participate in the meeting representing us properly without me being actually hear what they're saying.
Right, okay.
I hate to say it, it's a big concern.
No, I understand. I appreciate you saying so.
Just that in the past, when we had the one meeting we had in there before COVID, I actually missed the majority of the meeting. I was unable to
Right,
hear what even the fellow
okay.
commissioners were saying to me, sitting next to me. It's
Well, if it's-
echoey and it's an impairment I have.
Yeah, okay. If it's June 6th, I should be able to go. So, so getting back,
To answer your question, Mr. Chair, I would vote that we give this to the Board of Selectmen as soon as possible. And then we work it a little bit with all the information that we're talking about tonight, because a lot of things happen. And our plan is to hopefully now change some sewers, but we don't know the cost of that or what it will do, or, you know, we're only asking for $200,000.
right, do you want to make that in the form of a motion?
Mr. Chair, I recommend that we send the Aqua proposal to the Board of Selectmen as soon as possible for their review, considering today is Tuesday, and then go from there as far as when we do the presentation.
Right, does someone want to second that?
I'll second that motion.
Okay,
Or Brett.
any further discussion? All right, seeing none, let's take a vote. Mike Nault,
Aye.
Brett Ramsey,
Aye.
Dave McDonald,
I,
and I for myself. So it's approved to forward that on. Paula, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Brambill is back on. Can you hear us? Okay. We still cannot hear you. Can you try calling that phone number that's on the agenda?
Do you need the phone number? The phone number is 888-475-4499. And then when prompted, you're going to enter the number 820-5953-7604. It's going to ask you for the webinar ID, and that's the number I just read. And then you're going to dial *9 to speak.
All right, let's give him a minute here.
It says the meeting doesn't allow call-in. Well, it has to because Brett's on his phone. Brett, are you using your iPhone or are you using the Zoom
I'm
app?
using I'm on an iPhone, yeah.
So it does allow call-in.
I haven't tried that. Well, when you make a call, it interrupts the meeting. It might show a picture in the corner still.
All right, I think we probably need to move on to the next agenda item and hopefully
One,
be able to
one,
connect.
Mr. Chair, one last thing. Dave, if you can try calling us, do you have an iPhone, Dave? Just nod your head. Do you have an iPhone? Go on your iPhone, go to that link and hit it. Your iPhone will automatically connect you in, so you'll be working off your iPhone.
So to get the link, go to Lunenburg, either use the agenda I sent you or go to lunenburgma.gov and click on the calendar, and there will be a Zoom link there, and on your iPhone, just click the link.
It's like you did on the computer here. You clicked on a link somewhere. Okay, so try that, disconnect from us and then try tying in on your iPhone.
Yeah, I'm on an iPhone or straight.
You'll look like Brett.
It's a little smaller.
Yeah. Not as ugly.
Yeah, so if you can disconnect from the computer and try the iPhone.
And you can Bluetooth your hearing aids this way.
All right, well, he's trying, perhaps we should move on to the next agenda item.
Yep.
Which is Woodard and Curran Sewer System Infiltration Review. Did everyone have a chance to at least, if not read the report, read Paula's summary of the report?
Hold on, Paula, which one was it?
It was, I don't remember exactly the name of the file that I sent, but the file is a report that says P. Bertram notes sewer system infiltration inflow third-party review. The report itself was Woodward and Curran I&I review.
Well, we saw this. Okay,
So I had sent some notes that of just specific highlight some information in the report.
It's this sheet here is, or maybe you can screen share it, Paula.
Sure. I'm gonna try.
All right, well, she
Okay,
did send,
yeah, I've got it. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna share. Okay, can you guys see it?
not yet.
It's working on it. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
You got it.
All right, so has everyone had a chance to read this?
yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a pretty good summary of the report. And, you know, for years, I think we've been talking about I&I, the Whalum area. And I think this talks about I&I. One of the big issues is manholes and not necessarily in the Whalum area. So I don't know, maybe we need to refocus. I mean, the Arbor manhole money is refocused to this. You know, we we do have an I&I problem, and we think in the past we've always thought it is in the Whalum district. But again, I'm just repeating myself, but it sounds like maybe that's not just the issue. So I think everyone really needs to take a close look at this report. and maybe reevaluate where we attack our INI. I mean, I read it. Is that me?
Yes, you're echoing.
I don't know why.
You read it and read it and read it.
Did you read it? Read it?
Actually, I was going to say I need to read it again to fully understand it.
Now I know why Paula does 3 times the amount of work. Did you do it? Good, good, good.
So Paul, I know you've read it pretty thoroughly, and Bill, I know you were looking at it today. I saw it on your-
Mr. Brambilla, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, it's from my phone, for my iPhone.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, do you want to go back?
Yeah, let's go back to the appointment, A&T Crossroads.
Yes.
non-compliance Hearing. So, Paul, if you could just again, very briefly, do your
So the bottom line is we hadn't been receiving the interceptor pump out reports, and the interceptor pump outs were not being done on time at this location. We've sent numerous communications to the property owner, which is not Mr. Brambilla, but rather his brother, A&D Crossroads, and didn't receive any responses. And then finally in December of 2022, the commission decided to implement the non-compliance and to start charging the $25 per day. We finally, in March 1st, we got the report we were looking for, and we sent out an invoice in the amount of $2,525, which included the $50 initial non-compliance fee and the fine of $2,475 for 90 days of non-compliance. We never received a response. That was back in March, on March 1st. I did send a letter and informing the property owner that there would be a hearing tonight. And in all the correspondence, I have copied both Ixtapa and Darius. Darius is since now closed, I understand. But I have a copy of the establishments because they would be the primary individuals affected. I met a representative from Ixtapa, came in and along with the translator, and we talked, and I explained the situation, and they wanted to come in tonight and talk. You know, I met with them on last Wednesday. They told me they were having the system pumped on Friday, which they did do. I did get the pumping report, but I got the report from the company versus our report, which has the information that we need. For example, the amount of sludge, the amount of fog, we don't have any of that information. So I have sent an email letting them know that we don't have the correct report. They did send the report along with pictures, so the system has been pumped. But they were out of compliance for over 99 days.
Okay. Mr. Brambilla, do you want to take the floor here and talk to us about it?
We did receive the letters and the emails, and I forward to Jaime Brambilla, who is my brother, and I did send the first report. I sent it for the grease trap. It was on February the 6th, February the 10th. That was for the report on, it was done in September the 28th, 2022. And the report, it was done in February the 8th, 2023. And today I sent another one, the one is in which is last week on the 24th. But now I understand, we talked to the company, we had a schedule for every 3 months. And they're gonna do the report to your office. I already talked to the company.
Okay, so
So the system was pumped on September 28th, February the 8th, and May 24th.
and Paula, when did the non-compliance start? What was the date?
The system was supposed to be pumped on October 12th of 2022. And we finally got a pumping report on February 17th of 23.
The system, it was supposed to pump in October 12, but it was pumping in September 28.
Right, but we didn't get that report. We got that report on
Oh.
February 17th.
Okay,
That's the problem. Is the regulations required, just so that you're aware, Mr. Barbieri,
Reports.
dealing with your
so to
brother?
have that,
Right,
Yeah.
is within 30 days of the pumping, you're supposed to submit the report so that we know it's being done.
okay,
I didn't get the report until February 17th, after many,
Oh.
many emails and many, many communications.
all right.
Okay, so based on our regs, he has been out of compliance. So I guess the issue is, what do we do about that? Any of the commissioners have any input?
Over the course of many months, our manager has spent a number of hours trying to reach Mr. Brambilia, and you know, this is something that's come before us. I don't know how many meetings in a row. We skipped some without talking about it, but then it's been a very long-standing issue. I feel we need to do something to somehow cover ourselves for all that lost time and frustration when it didn't need to happen. Thank you.
Mike, Dave?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I could, Paula. He said he pumped it in September, is that
Mhm.
correct? And we asked for, it was supposed to be pumped in October.
Right,
He just didn't send us the paperwork in September.
exactly. He
David,
didn't
why,
send- Right,
excuse me, Paula, David, why wouldn't you let us know that you pumped it when we responded to you numerous times? You're in the regulation, but you never called us back. But why wouldn't you call us back?
Well, I think we missed the communication and send the report on time, but we did claim, we did pump the system September 28, but anything we didn't, I guess we didn't send the report on time.
yeah, we received it February 17th.
And then, okay, what I say, what I heard from Perla, my brother Jaime, when he hired the company and asked the company they send the report directly to the Sewer and Water Department, they supposed to, the company is supposed to send the report to the Sewer and Water Department, and they the one they missed that, they didn't send it on time. So we were counting or planning, you receive the report.
But
Right,
again, our policy
That's right.
was to send the paperwork in. You were ahead of the schedule. You were doing great, and then all of a sudden you blew us off. That's what I think this commission's upset about.
Oh, yeah.
Blow us off. He blew us off a month, and that's what.
Yeah.
You know, and listen, we want you to do business in town. We want you to succeed. We know that you have a couple openings over there, but the bottom line is, I think what Mr. Ramson was just saying was, why would you blow us off for 5 months? Is it 5 months? September, October, November, December, January, 5 months. That to us is almost like telling us, hey, we don't care. And I know you care because you pumped it out 30 days ahead of schedule. So again, that's my opinion. Paula, you're looking like you want to say something.
I just want to say, I think a big part of the problem is the pumping company is not doing the reports correctly. When I finally did receive the report on February 17th, none of the relevant information was filled out. So for example, we didn't have the volume of the grease interceptor, the tank height, the percentage of grease and solids, none of the info, it was all blank. So I ended up highlighting the information and sending it back to Wind River to get the fields completed. And then again, they pumped the system on Friday and I did get the report, but it's not, again, not our correct report. It's the Wind River
Right.
report, which is not our report, that doesn't give us the information we need.
What we did right now, we just hire a new company to do every 3 months. We're gonna change the company. And now we're gonna make sure you get your report on time and this will not happen again. I can present the other company.
Who is the new company you hired, Dave?
Our company is called Bay State. Hold on a second. He's already cleaned some places for us. It's called I just sent an email to them about to do that. Bay State Sewage Disposal Inc.
Okay, Paula, are we familiar with that company?
I honestly, I can't say. It does sound familiar, but I don't have that information in front of me.
I can give the information for that
No, I
one.
just don't have my database in front of me. It's at work. But it does sound familiar.
I think what I'm trying to say, Dave, is that we spent time on this. Paula, what's the fine as of right now?
$2,525.
So if you take a look at, and that's where the dates that effective from.
That is from November 11th to February 17th. We should have received the report by November 11th. We didn't receive it until February 17th.
Hold on one second.
The chairman has been disconnected. He's trying to get back in. So Brett, if you can take over while he's trying to get back in.
Yeah, I just, same thing, I just saw that. Mr. Backup Chair, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think my feeling is that we could have saved a lot of frustration and time if David had at least responded to some of Paula's emails. You know, I'm willing to talk with the other commissioners and talk about, you know, a possible difference in the number, but I think we need to put at least some kind of, send David a little bit of a message. I appreciate that he changed companies, but you need to be able to respond to, you know, the people running the commission who are concerned about our pumps and the amount of stress put on our manager and so forth. I think there has to be some kind of retribution. I don't know what that is at the moment. May not be full cost, but I think something has to be there. That's my opinion.
I kind of go along with that. And Mike, what do you think? Like, no,
I'm in that same realm. If I remember thinking back, this is not the first time. We had a pretty big issue back with the same system. I mean, it's not a bad demand. We just have to, it has to be followed. That's the thing. So I'm kind of in the same thought process. What that number is, I don't know.
Paula, have you heard if John is coming back?
He's trying. I haven't heard back from him.
What is your thoughts on this, Dave?
I think David made a big mistake. And I understand that. I mean, with business the way it was, but so many months was, that's just a long time. Is it worth $2,000? Probably not. Especially, do we have the cleaning report from September, Paula? No?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we have the report. The main thing was Paula's time tracking this down and how it's been on every meeting since we've been doing it. So I think, David, I think what you did was incorrect. But I would recommend something out there, how much Paula, we gotta pay back Paula for her time. And that was something that I would think maybe Bill or Paula can give us a number too. What do you think, Paula?
Oh, it's really up to you guys, Bill.
No, I'm just saying, how much time did you put into it?
Looking at the reports,
If we didn't have the support from September, I'd be very upset.
no, I have the report from September.
Yes, that would be a different story.
That would be a different story.
But
Okay.
as Mike mentioned, this is a repeat situation, so.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Well,
Oh, I'm looking.
no, go ahead.
So 14, 15, 16. 16 emails, 4 certified letters, and 2 phone calls.
So since we're so far past date, so many notices, I would throw a number out like $750.
And a couple of hours of meeting time.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
With the assumption, that it doesn't, if it happens again to this location, the fines would be a lot more severe.
I agree. So,
What do you think of that, Mike?
basically,
No, I think that's fair. That's, better than half the fine, so.
Mr.
the
Chair, what
question
do
is
you-
what number.
I'm sorry.
So we need to decide on a number that feels fair to the situation.
Our business manager put a lot of time into this over the last few months, which shouldn't have happened. And again, that's what I think anyways. So, Mr. Chair, I think it would be up to you, or if Bill has any comments on it too.
I'm feeling as backup chair, my thoughts on the subject is I'm still feeling 1,000 might be high, but 5 isn't high enough. I'm falling in the area of $700 or $800 just to send a message.
That's why I was saying $750. Exactly. It pays for her time anyways,
Right.
for the last 5 months.
Yes,
John
that
is,
seems-
John is,
feels very,
John is just
feels-
coming back in.
I might be being a little too fair, but if it sends a message, and the message being if it happens again, looks like our chair is returning.
Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. Like that cat, Michael.
That's a big cat.
Yeah. So did you guys come to any kind of conclusions here?
Mr. Chair, real quick, David had his system cleaned in September. It's supposed to be done in October, but that's fine. We do have the documentation that it was done in September. Our concern was that we went 5 months, sent numerous emails and messages and certified letters with no response. The board feels that we should, right now, the fine would be at $2,525. We feel that we should charge them $750 with the stipulation that there'll be no more games in the future. If something comes in, we need that response. Because we still have to meet our federal codes and our policies with Leominster. And it's not just him, it touches a lot of different businesses.
Right.
We have to send our reports in.
I'm sure there was some logic to coming up with the 750.
Yes,
Okay.
and that would pay for our manager's time and effort she conducted on this project
Okay.
over the period of 5 months.
Okay. So does someone want to make a motion to reduce the fine penalty to 750 from the 2,525?
Mr. Chair, I probably put a motion out there to charge, what's the name of the project? I'm sorry,
A and D Crossroads.
A&D Crossroads, $750 towards his $2,525 fine. To be paid immediately.
Okay, and the 750 would be paid in full as far as sewer commission.
Yes,
Okay. Someone want to second that?
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion?
Should we put some kind of stipulation in there about looking forward in the future?
this applicant must be and follow policies and procedures in the future.
Well, I think that would go without saying, so, but do you want to modify your motion, Dave, to?
I know what Brett's trying to say. I just don't know how to put it in the motion. I mean, I would say that if he
Right.
violates this again, we bring back the rest of the penalty.
Yeah, I feel that if you go ahead with this motion for the $750, we'll do that and we'll see what happens moving forward. And would be less inclined to perhaps vote this way if there are still issues moving forward.
If he's
So
in
I think-
violation again, we won't forget this, Mr. Chair, is what I guess I'm trying to say.
Right, so I think if we probably can move forward with the motion as stated, Dave.
Yes, I would, yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion. We have someone who wants to second that.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, let's do a roll call vote. Mike Nault,
Aye.
Dave McDonald,
Excuse me,
Brett Ramsden,
Aye.
and I for myself. The motion has passed. Okay.
Mr.
Oh,
Chairman, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman,
go ahead, Paula.
just one comment. Mr. Grandia, I need to get the report from Wind River for the pumping that was done on Friday. It needs to be on our form within 30 days from the date of the, as you will be out of compliance again. So if you can make sure, I forwarded you the blank form and I also forwarded it to Wind River. If you could make sure I get that back next week so that we can continue to be in compliance.
Yes, I did receive it and I will send it back. I will send it to you next week.
Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Brambilla, you basically have two action items here. One is to get that report to us. Two is to get us the check for $750. And moving forward, let's hope that you're always in compliance.
Yeah, we'll be drafting the check at the office tomorrow.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
thank you, Dave.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Where do we leave off? Okay.
We were talking about Woodland and Curran, but I don't
Woodland
really
and Curran.
remember.
Yeah, but basically I asked Paula to put this on the agenda because I wanted everyone to read the report. Her summary does a really good job of summarizing it. And we need to look at this within the context of manholes, I&I, and our capital budget. So I really would like everyone to, it's really good reading. If you wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, it's really good reading. Bill, do you have any comments, insight about the report? I know you've looked at it and I saw you looking at it this morning.
No, I think Paula summarized it pretty well. We have to do some manhole repairs to address our I&I issues. And we have to look at the operation of the pump stations. And again, that's what we're trying to get money for, is both of those things. So the report supports our request.
Right, and the other thing it points out is, I've talked to Paul and Bill about is, we need to start getting our pump station report on a regular basis. Because some of the analysis can't be done without that information. So hopefully moving forward.
So I will say, just for the commission to be aware, we did get some reports from Al, yesterday? No, today. No, maybe it was Friday. I think it was Friday. But we have some questions about them. Bill has kind of done some calculations and has some questions about the data in them. So we're going to talk with Al and try to have a sit down to go over the reports that he did submit. And those reports are from January 1st through May, I think one day last week. So, but we do need to go over some of the data because it isn't correlating with previous data.
Okay. Anyone have anything else they want to say about that report or Paula's summary? I think we really need to use it as a basis moving forward.
Sounds like a good start platform.
I agree.
Paula, you want to say anything else about that before we move
Nope.
on?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, IMA negotiations. What I know is that we can't go into executive session to discuss this. And I know we don't want to have lengthy discussions about this in open meetings. So I would like to see, I'm sure Dave, Mike, Paula, Bill, you can give the rest of us a little overview without going into too much detail. But I think moving forward, we'll need to keep it to a non-quorum group meeting with the Leominster Sewer Commission, Sewer District, Sewer Department. And keep the rest of the Sewer Commission just updated with summaries.
Mr. Chair, if I could I ask the business manager to, when's the next calling hours for the attorneys?
I already met, I don't have the date yet, but I can find out. I did reach out to both Adam Coster and Ben Taylor, and was told that this cannot be done in executive session. We cannot discuss it in executive session. And I forward that email to you guys.
I don't remember getting it. When did you send that, Paula?
This afternoon, right? Or today.
No, I sent the email. I sent the email with the original agenda. Which was last Thursday. Last Thursday.
Yep, you're right.
And
Yeah,
did
I
Adam say why we can't do it in executive session?
Because it just does not qualify. Contract negotiations does not qualify for executive session.
Until you're at the final point of actual
Final point.
negotiations.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Me either.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. I don't agree with that at all. I mean, we are doing contract negotiations.
Apparently it's like the lead up to the final discussion just can't be done in executive session. So, Dave and Mike, and if you want to, I have complete faith in you guys. So.
Well, I mean, it's a year. Oh, we got a year to negotiate this, but I think, I mean, I like to talk to Adam. Mr. Chair, is it possible that I can set up an appointment and with the board's permission to talk to Adam about this?
I
can
but-
read his email. I can and do confirm that there is no executive session privilege, to the dismay of many, believe me, for general contractual negotiations. For that reason, negotiations are often undertaken by fewer than a quorum of an authorized board or commission or by its representatives, and only brought to the full public body when necessary. Because I had initially put an executive session on the agenda and was told it couldn't be done under executive session. So that's the email I have from Adam.
But Dave, if you want to go and talk to Adam, as a fellow member of the commission, I don't have a problem with that. I know we all agreed that no one would go to see Adam. No commissioner would go see town council without the knowledge of all the other commissioners. So I have no problem with it. Mike, Brett,
We're aware of the situation and certain, we're giving him permission right now, I believe. He would like to do so.
okay, Mike?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Paula.
Council hours are June 21st from noon to 4 at Town Hall. And Dave, if you want to reserve a time, I can do it through the doodle poll. I have to reserve a time, so just let me know what time works for you.
Early as you can.
Okay.
But I'm wondering though, and again, I'm looking at it as we're negotiating with another town, another municipality. And I don't think I think Lemus is doing the same thing. Not until you get the final negotiation as far as the result. I don't understand. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm usually am. But it's just, you're in a negotiation with another town, I mean, or another city that affects everybody that's on the sewer system. So it just doesn't make sense. But hey, it's a wacky world.
Mike Knoll,
Not that I don't trust you, Paul. I'm just saying is,
Oh, no, I agree. It's wacky.
yeah, I just don't understand it.
okay, Mike Knoll, it's fine with you, Dave? Meets with Adam Costa,
Oh, nope, no problem at all.
okay. Now, do you have another meeting scheduled with Leominster yet?
No.
No.
Okay. All right, Dave, go ahead and talk to Adam and let us know how it goes.
Okay, I mean, it bothers me to talk about this. Like, I mean, you can get an update of what happened, and Mike, Paula, Bill, we were all there. It's just that when you start talking about the nitty gritties, some of those are gonna be changed, and I just hate to talk about them in public right now until we get it done.
Right, I understand.
Okay.
So let's move on to the next item on the agenda.
There is
Go
one
ahead,
item.
Paula.
There is one item from that meeting that I wanted to talk about. One of the questions that I asked is the new NIPD's permit, the draft permit is out, and I think I
Yeah.
sent that to everybody.
Yeah.
According to Wright Pierce, the testing requirements are very onerous and basically are an unfunded mandate. So I asked Leominster if they're going to be pushing back on that. Kevin Olson had said that many communities are pushing back because it's going to be extremely costly and time consuming. And they answered that, yes, they are pushing back on it and we'll be sending a letter. And I asked as a co-permittee, would it be helpful if we send a letter as well? Letters of responses on the draft permit are due by June 5th. Jake was going to send me his comments and I haven't received those yet. But I'd like approval from the commission to draft a letter, basically in support of eliminating that component of the NIPD's permit. And I'll base that letter on Jake Fleming's input.
Okay, I think it's a great idea. I don't know if this is something we have to take a vote on or just,
Mr. Chair, I don't think we need a vote, but a green light would be nice to follow.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, okay, Polly,
Okay.
go ahead from me, Mike, Brett, Dave,
Green light.
okay,
In
Right.
Paula Wright Trust.
okay,
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, overall, the meeting went well, and I gotta thank Paula, Bill, and the town manager who also was there for their assistance. And I think the first meeting was very productive. It was get to know one another, we kind of know where we stand. We'll go from there. But I thought it was quite well for the first meeting. I don't know what your guys' thoughts were, but we learned a lot. They're a nice group of people to work with. But you gotta, negotiations are negotiations.
right. Okay, any other comments or questions about the IMA? No, okay, capital planning.
So I had sent out an updated capital plan. Bill and I met with Al on Wednesday. And things changed again. Bill, you're smiling. So apparently we need a pump at West Street and a pump at Francis, which a panel at Francis. So in a panel, I'm sorry, it says pump, but it should say panel under West Street. So I've moved some things out, some things that Al had originally thought he needed, which were dialers and seals. He said those can wait. So my estimated expenditures for capital plan, and you guys should have all received a worksheet today, estimated for 3 cranes, block heaters and panels and a dialer at Meadowwoods is a total of $45,237.80. That's the estimated total. Our budget will currently cover that. So that's the current plan. We're still working on the fiscal 24, fiscal 25. Based on our meeting with Al, we moved some things around. So I sent you an updated sheet. A couple key things that came out of that meeting is that Al is really recommending that we go to the SCADA system. And I know that Dave had brought this up a while ago, is what are we doing with that? And both Bill and I informed Al that we would like to have access to that system. Apparently you can control it from an app. And what it does is eliminate the need for on-site time, and it stops the on-site, and eventually it actually will save us money because it can be done off-site remotely. So that is his recommendation when we change panels. He also mentioned that Dana and Mass One are the 2 that he would like to put in the SCADA systems, and he thinks they're going to be $16,000 each, but he's going to get estimates, but that's not this year. But just to let you know, those are the 2 stations he really would like to put the SCADAs in. He mentioned a couple other things that we need to be aware of. You know, he talked a little bit about the fact that we need to start getting on a battery replacement cycle for every 3 years. And I have created a database to track when we do different things. Annual pump outs need to be in the budget in November and December timeframe. And he talked about fence gates, and Bill, I don't know if you want to talk to that. I didn't really understand what he was saying.
He was talking about the fences that surround the pump stations, that some of them are damaged from maybe snow plows or other damage. So he's talking about fixing those.
Yeah, so those are the key things that we talked about. He wants to try to standardize things in the pump stations, what they think is a good idea. Bill and I talked today, and one of the things we want to get on top of is our inventory on site. We have an area at the DPW that can store equipment, so we want to start tracking that inventory. Because during the meeting with Al, he mentioned that we might have a couple of these pumps. So he was going to check and get back to us. And so, you know, we're doing our due diligence to make sure we don't spend money that we don't have to spend. But we are going to put together an inventory system.
Regarding the inventory system, Paula and Bill, do you think it would be in our best interest for the town of Lunenburg to do that inventory, or just have Al do it and report to us?
I think we should do it together. Yeah.
Okay, I think so too. You know, if it was appropriate to have a commissioner be there, if either of you can't do it, you know, I'd be happy to try to do it with him. But I agree, I think someone else should be there. Okay, and the SCADA, it's interesting because we way back talked about you know, upgrading some of the pump stations with SCADA, and I didn't think Al at that time seemed to be all that interested in it. So I would just like to find out more about what that actually is going to provide.
Agreed, Bill. I don't know if you both Bill and I want to understand the
Yeah.
system and look into it and have access to it, which we don't currently, and he's supposed to get us access. But I know both Bill and I want to understand it better.
Right. I don't want to spend $16,000 and it just provides us with marginal information.
Right.
Okay, those are my only comments.
Mr. Chair, if I could, when we talk with Leominster, they have a wealth of knowledge, and I'm only speaking for me. But they have a wealth of knowledge on how to do business, how to conduct business, and they have a system. It wasn't Schluter, it was something else, Bill. Do you remember what they said they had?
No, I don't, sorry.
Okay, but I think I would like to do is maybe this commission do a meeting in Leominster, just talk about sewer, talk about different technologies they use, because I love the idea of getting rid of some of these manholes. And the guys were really nice. And we had, what was his name? Mr. Brooks was there. But to share and we can do the same thing in Pittsburgh too. Just sit down and have coffee and pizza and talk about this kind of stuff, because you learn a lot of things. And that 2 hours that we were there, I learned a lot. So,
I agree.
I am. Yeah, I mean, I think meeting with our peers, gathering as much information, knowledge would be a great idea.
I mean, they had an entourage there, people. I mean, they had, and they're all good guys. I mean, I thought at the end of the day, I'm glad I was part of it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, the only thing we have to be careful about is, the old quorum issue, so.
I was gonna reach out to Jake Fleming about the manhole lining and see if I can get as much information as I can on how they did it and what company they used.
Okay.
So I can talk to him about the SCADA as well.
Okay. All right, and then get back to us on that, Paula. Thank you.
We could invite him to a Zoom meeting too, because we do all our meetings by Zoom. So maybe a couple of guys can jump on
That's a great idea.
and do it that way. And that way the public can see what we're trying to do as well.
Yeah, I can see if he'd be willing to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Although I prefer face-to-face, but anyway. Okay, anything else on capital planning?
Nope.
Okay. The Leominster Shirley Quarter development,
So Heather mentioned that the selectmen are working on a grant application for this area for next year. Due to possible construction of 5 commercial buildings across from the large warehouse that was just constructed. And I just indicated to Heather that that's something that we would like to be involved in, because that would be an opportunity to install sewer in that area. That's our only industrial area in town. So I just let her know that I'd like to be involved if in the grant application process, and that the sewer commission would like to have input.
I think that'd be great. Anyone else have any thoughts for Paula on that? So I guess that silence is a vote of support, Paula.
Okay,
It is.
okay.
It is.
Okay. The assistant business manager.
So as you guys know, we put the position on hold, and I've talked about this in a meeting, but I'm really looking for a formal vote from you guys on how you feel about it. The current position is 24 hours. It's a non-benefited position. I'm sorry, it's a 24-hour benefited position. I personally don't believe we need additional 24 hours. I know when we had the discussion, I wasn't sure, and I do believe I need an assistant, but I don't believe it needs to be the full 24 hours, nor do I believe it needs to be a benefited position if we can do it as a non-benefited. And there were definitely people that were interested in less than 24 hours during our interviews. So I really wanted you guys to decide if you would support that, or if you want to stick with the 24 hours benefited.
My thoughts are, and I've talked to Paula about this. I think we can go with less than the 24 benefited position at this point in time. And then a lot of that is due to Paula's the incredible work that she's done in the time that she's been there. That I would be in favor of reducing that.
Mr. Chair, I'd go one step further. I like to take that position and offer it to a job training class like the high school or the college and let the kids come in and learn a trade and get credits for it at the same time. And that would help Paula out with filing or whatever. And Paula, I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Well, and I'm really curious to have Bill chime in here because it's really his department.
That's true.
But I think that I think it's more than filing. Jane does a great job right now with filing. But for example, today, you know, I did 6 final bills. If I could have somebody in the office to do that and answer the phone, do emails. So it's more than just, you know, simple clerical work. But additionally, I want to let you guys know, and I talked with Bill about this, and at some point next winter, I'm going to have surgery and I'm going to be out for 4 weeks. So we're definitely going to need to have somebody in the office during that period of time. So I think it's more than just a sort of an intern position. I think it's a permanent position. Bill, I'm curious. To
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, we need somebody in there who can learn the art system and to cover when Paula's not there, especially like she said, she's gonna be out 4 weeks. I don't think a summer intern type position can handle that.
On something like that, it was my understanding that we could also maybe ask Barb to come back and cover for situations like that. Is that out of the picture now, or is that still an option?
She actually said she didn't want to come in for any, you know, great length of time, but she would do consulting. But I think between a mix of the 20 hours and Barb coming in, you know, we do have a consulting budget as well. So between the mix of the consulting and the position, I think we'd be fine during that period of time.
Well, That I went to too, she doesn't go anywhere, so it should be bored. I'm just throwing that out. We got a while to think about this as a group, but
Right. I mean, I think intern programs are very important, but my concern with that is that could actually end up taking Paula a lot of time in training every time there's an intern. So I'm not sure I would support that at this point in time.
I think my definition of an intern is send a notice out to the schools and see if anybody would like a part-time job and keep them. That's what I mean by an intern, not every week. I was on a program when I was a kid and they brought me in and I got a job out of it. After so many hours, you know, that's what I'm talking about. Try to bring it in to help a child with learning a career, I guess is what I'm saying. But they'd stay on. It wouldn't be a temporary thing.
Kind of like
Paula,
cars for kids.
I'm sorry, Mike?
I said kind of like cars for kids.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Paula, did you say you had somebody interested in the position for?
I do, and I actually talked to her. The issue is if we don't hire somebody the 24 hours benefited that's currently in the union, it has to be renegotiated with the union contract. And they're currently in discussions right now for the new contract, which is why I'm looking for an actual vote from the commission on how you feel about this. Because if we're going to change the position, they have to do collective bargaining. So I need to know whether or not you're willing to do it as a less than 20-hour a week position, or if you want to keep it to 23. And we can talk about exactly how we do that moving forward. Personally, while I appreciate what you're saying, Dave, I'm concerned about training somebody and then, you know, their availability. The office is only open 7 to 3. So it would have to be during the office hours. And I'd be looking for someone that would want to work Fridays. So I'm a little bit leery about a student because I just think there's a lot to learn. But what I'm really looking for is feedback from you guys on whether or not you'd be willing to support the less than 20 hours a week.
I'm in full support of reducing the hours.
Mr. Chair, if I could, when we talked about budgets, and we've been on this board for a lot of years, I think it's time to, we don't run the operation of this business. We consult with the budgets. We don't go check manholes. That's up to the DPW director. And I agree with what you're saying, but I think the opinion of the DPW director should lie with him when it comes to personnel.
So I agree completely, and I think Paula mentioned that earlier. So Bill, why don't you offer your opinion at this point in time?
Yeah, we need somebody for the less than 20 hours. Like we talked about, Paula streamlined a lot of the business process. And so we don't really need the 24 hours. 6 months ago, I thought we did. Now I can see we don't. But we do need somebody more than a student or a college, high school or college student. We need somebody who's there the 19 hours or so that can learn the business and, learn how to handle the day-to-day stuff and yeah.
Not have to be retrained every Monday.
Exactly.
Well, that leaves me out.
All right, so does someone want to make a motion at this point to support reducing the assistant business manager to less than 24 hours?
I'll make a motion to change the potential, the hours for the assistant manager's position from 24 hours benefited to 20 and minus hours unbenefited.
Under 20.
Under 20.
Under 20 and unbenefited, excuse me.
Okay. Does someone want to second that?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, let's take a vote. Mike Nault,
Aye.
Brett,
Aye.
Dave McDonald,
Aye.
and I for myself. The motion is passed.
No, we're not like that. We're not on the committee. Who's this here?
Okay, any action items for future meetings? Dave, come on, you always have at least one.
I think we gotta look into the manhole covers. I really like that idea, what Lemus has said. I think we should really explore that. I thought that was a great idea.
Okay. Anything else?
All for
No?
great ideas.
Okay. Paula, business manager report.
So
I'm just going off screen for a moment, but I can still hear, okay?
Yeah, I sent out the current budget and my anticipated over or under budget. I sent that out this afternoon. I've upped the amount we're going to spend on I&I to address some manholes in addition to the ARPA funding. And we've added $28,000 for jetting. Bill actually is trying to reduce that cost, and I don't know if you want to talk about that, Bill.
Sure. So I happened to run into a guy who rents Vector trucks and Jetta trucks. And I got a cost out of him today, cost estimate. And it was $4,800 for the week. If you hire a company like Rada or Clean Basins, their cost is between $2,500 and $2,800 a day. So obviously a big savings if we rent a truck and operate it ourselves. And I talked to my guys, they're up for it. And I talked with Al Packard, and he said he could assist us and at least get us going in the right direction with it. So yeah, I think we're gonna rent that truck for 2 weeks and start jetting lines.
So the rental is $4,800 just for the truck. Now
Mhm.
the DPW then would be providing man hours. Is that coming out of the DPW budget or out of the sewer department's budget? And what would that add to the cost?
Well, that's,
Less than $2,500 a day, no doubt.
yeah, yeah, no doubt. I'm not sure how to handle that, so I'll have to look into it.
And in addition, we're going to have, we may have additional fees for Al, right, Bill?
Right.
Because Bill talked to Al about helping out and doing some training on for the guys, so.
But even so, it's a lot less.
Wouldn't that fall under the maintenance account anyways, as far as paying Al, his consultant, for doing that?
If it's within the 10 hours a week, but I think it will be more than 10 hours a week. I mean, I don't know. Bill,
We're not
what-
talking a lot of money with Al. My concern would be, Bill. And the way it used to be done in the past is that Bill would bill the sewer department for the time and labor. So you
Mr.
have to
Director,
create an invoice and send it in.
Bill, do you find 2 weeks for that truck? That sounds to me like you get the hang of it, you might be able to jet quite a few lines with that.
Right.
Exactly, yeah. Once they get the hang of it, I'm not quite sure how fast it'll go, but it should go pretty smooth. I know we're jetting, pipes that are supposed to be clean and functioning, so I don't think we're gonna hit too many obstructions and to slow it down.
Right.
Yeah, Bill has a whole plan on what streets they're gonna jet, and he went over that with Al. I don't remember how many miles, Bill, do you recall?
It was 3 miles.
Yeah, okay. But again, at $2,500 to $2,800 a day, that's over $12,000 to $14,000 a week versus
Mhm.
48 plus the additional man hours. So there's going to be a savings there.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Isn't that what Leominster does too? Don't they do that themselves?
Mhm.
Leominster has their own truck.
They have their own truck.
I thought.
okay,
And we asked about borrowing it and they said no.
Well, they said not if you drive, because they know how you drive.
Well,
okay. Go ahead, Paula.
That's all I have for the budget. The other thing I wanted just to mention is the system maintenance update. We have been doing maintenance. We've ordered I've given the go-ahead based on Bill's approval to CTE to go ahead and order the cranes. We're ordering 3 cranes. Which weld change some batteries and some block heaters. And we are also looking at replacing some screens. We're doing a pump. We just did a pump at Meadowwoods. And as I said, the control panels at West Street and Francis. So we are maintaining the system. I do have a log of all the maintenance at each station, and I can send that out to you guys if you're interested. But I'm tracking it now by component, so I'll know when the batteries were last replaced, when the cranes were replaced. So I'm tracking it now by each station, the date the component was changed and what component was changed and the associated cost, so that we can kind of keep track of what's going on at each station. Grease trap compliance, everyone is currently in compliance except for Conrad's. I don't have their report, but that's not unusual. I will follow up with them. El Forno, I did not get their report on time, sent them an email, and I have since received it. So that's it from me.
Okay.
Vacation. I have sent this to Bill for his approval, which he did okay. As of July 1st, I'll have 4.5 weeks of vacation because my time was bridged from my previous employee under the union contract, and that was one of the stipulations when I took this position. And I am looking at taking June 16th as comp time. I keep track of my comp time, and with those okay. So I will be gone Friday the 16th. July, I will be gone from July 24th to July 27th for vacation, and then August 4th through August 11th for vacation. But I will get the bills out prior to my departure on the 4th. So those are planning to get those out on August 2nd.
And you approved all this, Bill?
Yes, I did. She deserves it.
She
Thank
does.
you, Bill.
Okay.
And don't complain about your budget, Bill.
Okay, thank you, Paula. Next is public comment. I guess I'll make the first public comment. Michael, thank you for sitting in. I think the rest of the commissioners will say most of my meetings don't go this long. Right? Everyone should go like this. There were several things we had to iron out tonight. So I hope you're interested in joining us. I'd like to have you. And thanks for staying here for the hour and 45 minutes.
Usually
other-
it's about an hour. less.
Okay.
You're on mute, Mike. Mike, you're on mute. Mute, there you go.
Quick comment. I really enjoyed the discussions. And there's two things that intrigue me. The fact that I've always been interested in infrastructure and the environment. And you guys, that's what you do. So, you know, I'm interested.
Awesome.
Great.
That's
Right.
good, Mike. Very good.
Like to
Mike,
have
if
you
you're-
aboard.
If you're interested, you have to be,
I know what to do.
we
I'll
we
go
have
back
to-
to the ball.
we have to appoint you with the select board, so if you are, I think that's a joint meeting, Mr. Chair. With the
Right.
select board. Well, you know, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, okay,
So let
Okay.
us know.
yeah, you let us know by next week and get you on next week.
All right, cool.
And between us, I think we only charge for new members like $100 a month to be a member.
Really? That's cheap.
You charged me 150.
Oh, okay, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other public comment?
Mr. Chair, if I could, I want to congratulate Brett Ramson. He got second place in the whole town for votes. So Brett, thank you very much for stepping up. You came in second overall of the whole town, so that was a good result. We got a lot of support.
Well, when we have a mayor, I might have to run.
I hope you do. Mayor Brett,
God help us.
but congratulations, Brett. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Brett. Thanks for hanging in, Brett. Any other public comment?
Good work.
Okay, we all have the next meetings on the bottom of the agenda. And so I guess at this point, does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. I'm hungry.
Anyone want to second that?
Second. Well, Mike got it. Mike seconded it.
Okay, any further discussion about that? No, I'll take a roll call vote. Mike Knoll,
Aye.
Dave McDonald,
Aye.
Brett Ramston,
Aye.
and I for myself. The meeting is adjourned.
Good
Good night,
everybody.
Lunenburg.
Night.
Thanks,
Good night.
again, Michael, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Mike Mackin, for joining us tonight.
Thanks so much, guys.
Good night, everyone.
You had a nice
Sorry to
cat
talk
too.
to you.
See you
Good
later.
night now.